Heading south here for the first hunt of the year, taking Huntley along youth season. This will be the first time he's packing a gun, so should be interesting. But it's about 5:30. We just got wrapped up with some last minute work. We had a lot of work. Buddy, you gotta get out, you gotta be quiet, and you gotta get all your stuff on, okay? Okay. Get in there in the truck. It'll smell like McDonald's. Let's see. Get on that. So we got a little bit of a hike in here, but just a real quick overview of this farm. A client of mine bought this year as part of an IRA. So with IRA funds, it's essentially a self-directed investment where he was able to buy farmland because he likes the sustainable long-term returns, even though they're not what some people might say is sexy. They're not super high returns. They're very stable. Farmland returns are stable over a long period of time. So with this farm, he bought the property with the IRA, but one of the stipulations is you can't actually utilize the property. You can't go onto the property yourself. You can't operate it yourself. So he's not able to hunt it. And we knew that the farmer, it was a new farmer this year, and he got in really late. He has like 2,000 or 3,000 acres that he farms, and he got in really late and got these beans in super late, so they're still about one of the only green sources in the area. So first night of Iowa youth season, we're gonna see if we can find a spot. It's kind of just going in cold. We haven't been out here at all this year, haven't ran cameras, but there's tracks all over just right here by the truck, and I know there's deer in the area, so it'll be interesting just to see what's out here. Man, I cannot believe the deer that came out in that field last night. I really wasn't expecting to see much. It was a little bit warm. I mean, not terrible, but a little warm for this time of September. And we had a field just completely full of deer. We had some expectations, I guess, with the beans being as green as they were and the alfalfa field right there. But man, when that buck stepped out, that was a total surprise. So we're pretty excited to try and get back after him tonight. I really don't even know if my boy appreciates how big that deer is, but it'd be really exciting for him to get a shot at that deer. But he'd be just as happy to shoot any of those other bucks that were in the field. But anyway, we're gonna pop on the computer here and try and get an aerial put together, see if we can find a spot where we can get a little closer. When those deer came out, they were about 250, almost 300 yards up there on top of the hill. And so I think there's a spot maybe along the fence, or there's another terrace that rolls around to the corner over one of the ridges. Anyway, we're gonna look at an aerial and see if we can find a spot where maybe we can get him in shooting range. I'd like to get him inside of 100. That's really his effective range with that gun. So anyway, that's kind of on the agenda for a little later today. Before I can get to that, I got to make a call on a farm we just got an offer on, and then get some things wrapped up so that we can go look at a new property over in Marion County, just south of Knoxville. We got a piece that gentleman called us about potentially listing, so we're going to go meet with him. Before we get to all that, one other quick update. Last week, you'll remember we looked at a Decatur farm, a really big hunting farm, solid timber tract, and we showed that gentleman that property. He was working with another company, but we went down just to assist with the tour, kind of provide a little more detailed information that we know about the farm since we're the ones listing it. And showing went really well. We did end up getting an offer, and I'm actually a little bit surprised on this one, but the deal came together. We're right here before hunting season, and I didn't expect that we were going to be able to get it put together. I know the owner was actually looking forward to hunting that farm this year. And anyway, he was, with a little bit of a delayed closing, we were able to get it put together. So we're going to head off here in about an hour to pick up the earnest money check, and hopefully that one's on its way to the closing table. So what we're dealing with is this farm has, it's about 140 acres, I think, altogether, and it's almost 100% tillable. The southeast corner down here, there's about 10 to 11 acres that's in alfalfa, and that's really the big draw for this farm, for the deer anyway. It's surrounded by timber to the south and to the east, and then on the north end there's some as well. But that big 8-point, it looked to me like he was coming up out of this draw and then working east through the beans and then coming into that little corner there where the fence line runs down. With conditions exactly the same. We had a southeast wind last night, and it was kind of blowing right up this draw. We were set up on this terrace and just out of range. I mean, we were a couple hundred yards from being within an effective range of the gun my son's using, or at least his effective range with it. So anyway, we were set up right here on this terrace. We could see the deer, see where they came out. They come out there making scrapes like crazy. But I think tonight, if we can push down, it looks like there's another terrace that runs kind of northwest to southeast. I'm thinking that either right off the point of that, so we could look into that draw where I think the buck's coming out, or potentially that fence line. I can see, if I zoom in, I can see a little pile of brush. Looks like there's a couple cedars there that would be approximately 100 yards from that south fence line. And if we can get right there on that little tucked in tight to that cover, we probably won't have a whole lot of time before they spot us, but you know, all we need is that big buck to step out long enough to give us a shot. So I think that's what we're going to try, is just slip down that fence line. We'll go in early, we'll walk down that fence line and try and get as close to that little patch of cover as we can. We might even have to cut some cedars or do some brushing in to try and hide us a little bit, because they're going to be at a higher elevation, so they're going to be looking down on us. But anyway, I think that plan, it's got potential anyway. If the deer show up, we'll definitely be in range, so just have to hope that his practice has paid off.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, John. This is Chuck with KILOTERRA. How are you?
Good.
Say, we're on the road now, heading your way. Probably be there right about 12 o'clock, if that still works for you.
That still works. That's what I was figuring on.
Okay. That sounds good. We'll see you then. Thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you.
What's this say for timber? 28. Today's the 893, so 2,900.
But one of the guys that worked for him had been hunting a little bit here, but that's about it. I mean, there's a slugger.
Gonna hold a lot more deer than, you know, the big, you know, like the big mature, just big trees this big around. There's not a whole lot of food on the floor like this. There's, I mean, all that green.
I got a neighbor, but it's more pasture ground than it is hunting ground.
Right.
I'd say, you know, and they're trying to sell that thing.
I mean, the fact that it's not completely dried up after this year.
Oh no, it's not. But that's what she is. I mean, you know.
Well, I know we're definitely going to have the buyers that would be interested in this. I think, you know, with the interest rates the way they are and being this close to Knoxville and Des Moines, I think it's got potential to get real close right there. I do. I don't have somebody in my back pocket today that would say, oh yeah, let me have it. You know, that's perfect. Well, we just wrapped up the meeting with the landowner here on this 80-acre farm. It's a really cool piece, got a ton of deer on it. I think the ideal setup for this farm is going to be somebody living in that Knoxville area. It's just south of town, and it's a perfect driving distance to Des Moines. So somebody's looking for property where it's a place where you could potentially build a home and do some hunting right out the back door. It kind of fits that bill pretty good. So right now we're making a couple mock scrapes, checking out the property, getting some collateral together for websites and marketing, advertising, stuff that we're going to be doing. Got a bag of corn getting ready to dump out in front of the trail cameras. We're going to throw those out, get about 3 or 4 cameras on this 80-acre piece, and hopefully catch some good deer using it. That'll definitely help get the thing sold. So that's what we're working on right now. We got Chris out here and Zach out here kind of scouting it out so that they can start working with buyers here in the next couple days.
So we're getting a few cameras set up. We figured this would be a good spot. There's a good clearing right here, really thick cover to the south. And we got a pond right here, and also there's an old scrape here from last year. So we kind of opened up the scrape. We're gonna put a camera on it and see what we got running around out here.
Okay. Okay. The camera. They'll never know.
Yes.
Stand up, stand up, stand up. What happened? Where'd the deer come
I
from?
seen that deer over there, and it's huge.
Yeah.
And we're keeping that deer.
We're keeping him.
Where'd you aim at?
Where'd you
Right
put it?
at the heart.
Yeah, right at the
Go
heart.
get him.
You want to go see him? We got to give him just a few minutes, okay? I think
But that hurts really bad.
Yeah, it's a big gun. It hurts a little bit.
I can't believe I killed him. That's my very first deer I ever killed. That's my very first deer I ever killed. Yeah, because I saw him.
Slow down, slow down, slow down. We're gonna let the blood out, okay? Slow down. Go slow. See any blood on the grass? Go real slow and look.
No. I don't know why I'm not finding any blood.
See how there's a trail?
Watch down this trail.
See how there's a trail?
Oh, I see him!
Slow, slow, buddy. Make sure he's dead.
Oh, yeah! Oh,
Look at the mass on that joker. Holy cow.
Holy.
what?
That's a big deer.
I can't. I'm gonna take a picture on it.
Oh, you think we ought to get that one mounted? Well, it's a pretty adventurous night. We came out to this farm last night just kind of on a whim. It hasn't ever gotten really hunted a whole lot. It's mostly wide open, but there was some beans that got planted really late and some green alfalfa that was just cut not too long ago. Came out last night, sat on it, and just saw a pile of deer, and this buck stepped out. Really nice, big, heavy 8-point.
Yep.
And I thought it was, odds were really against us, but we found one little clump of brush right in a draw. Exact same conditions today, high pressure, not a cloud in the sky, southeast wind, and we just stars aligned basically for Huntley to shoot his first buck ever, and first deer ever,
Right here.
and a buck that's going to be, I'd say, nearly impossible to beat anytime soon, because that is an absolute giant. Let's get this thing loaded up and get out of here.
Yep.
We'll get you some dinner.